Previously, I did a showcase video on the new Celebration Todoroki, and I showed you guys how good he is in PvP as well as Climax Battle. Now, at that point in time, I intentionally left out the VE Tower part of the showcase because the VE Tower part of the showcase deserves its own video, because that is where you're going to really truly see the value of this Todoroki. In PvP, I don't think he's that insane and that broken. The other Celebration units, I would almost definitely say, are better. Now, Todoroki could come into meta in PvP depending on what characters release next or are coming out next. Like, we have the new Mina coming out, maybe she'll work well with Todoroki, we don't really know. But as of right now in PvP, he's not super great, and if you guys haven't seen that showcase yet, go check it out. And then as for Climax Battle, he works as a unit, but personally I think just like in the Climax Battle I tested him on, there are going to be better units. Now, we do have the Night Eye Climax Battle coming back. It's a blue type enemy. Maybe he'll be useful there. We'll have to wait and see. But once again, I think he is going to be the most useful in VE Tower, so we are going to be showcasing him in the new Eraser stage double S difficulty on floor 2, and he does some really good stuff when it comes to VE Tower. So he shortens the cooldown time of all allies by 1. That's always going to be super helpful. He also has a high chance of burning the opponent for 4 turns. And because he can shorten cooldown time of all allies, that includes himself, this 6-turn cooldown becomes a 5-turn cooldown, but then more importantly, this 4-turn cooldown becomes a 3-turn cooldown, which is just going to open up a lot of options to you in VE Tower, especially when you're going for a 4 to 5 turn clear. Additionally, on his skill 2 here, he has a chance to land a status element, as well as increases the plus ultra gauge of all allies by 15% when you use it in a second or later successfully executed skill chain. So that is a technical hit with a status element and plus ultra gauge raise all on that one skill that does damage. So that's pretty good. His skill 1, on the other hand, it gives max HP and defense to allies, as well as increases their critical hit resistance. Like, that's not super crazy for VE Tower, but I mean, it is what it is. I think the real part where you're going to see his VE Tower shiny moments is going to be when you look at his action skill 2, because it's a 3-turn cooldown and it does all those other things, right? So it's really, really good. And then his auto skill also gives defense to mind allies. You don't really need that for VE Tower, but it's okay. And then the other important thing is increases characters plus ultra gauge by 10% every 1 turn. So every turn he's getting an additional 10% plus ultra gauge raise. Now, even with the 10% plus ultra gauge raise there and the 15% plus ultra gauge raise on his skill 2, it is still kind of an issue getting Todoroki his plus ultra gauge up by turn 2. And you'll kind of see this in this run that I do. I have tested out this run before, and it's pretty close to a perfect 4-turn clear if everything goes correctly. It's more, I'm going to be missing 1 plus ultra, and you'll see why that happens, okay? But then also shortens character's cooldown time by 1 after 1 turn passes while using the barrier. So if the barrier doesn't go away, he can shorten his cooldown again. So he could potentially be using that skill 2 quite a bit, and you don't have to really worry about needing to use skill 1. This is where I'm at on his ability board. I do have him up to level 11 at this point, so that's pretty decent. I want to get him to board 13, see how he is at board 13, but this is a little bit higher than the PvP showcase. I do have his board a little bit higher. And then also he can regenerate HP of all allies, and this auto skill right here turns both of his skills into technical hits as well, because it says regenerates HP of all allies by 10% for 2 turns and cancels one of their temporary status elements when used in a successfully executed skill chain. So that turns both of his skills into technical hits, which is good. So you have technical hits on this guy, you have status element, you have plus ultra gauge raise, all really good stuff for VE Tower, okay? Also increases max HP by 10% up to 5 times after 2 turns pass while not using a barrier, and regenerates character's HP. So the only real thing that he is missing that would make him really, really good would be crit rate, but that's okay. You have memories that make up for that. You have other characters that make up for that. So this is the team that I'm going to be running him on. And basically, we're going to be relying on Night Eye to stun. We're going to be relying on Todoroki to get the burns, and then Uraraka is going to increase our crit. So with all that said, let me show you guys how good this Todoroki can be in VE Tower. At the time that this video releases, the VE Tower rankings for this particular tower will be over, so keep that in mind, but that doesn't mean he won't be viable in future VE Towers, okay? And as of right now, we don't have any news on when the next VE Tower will be, but it seems like they've gotten to the system recently of going Climax Battle, VE Tower, Climax Battle, VE Tower. So we know Night Eye is coming up next for Climax Battle, so hopefully we'll have a new VE Tower right after Night Eye, and that will be your like first real real chance to try out and use this Todoroki. All right, we are going to go ahead and we are going to try to stun them both here. And then we're going to use skill 2 because remember this becomes a 3-turn cooldown or less depending on how everything goes. And it also increases the plus ultra gauge of all allies. Now notice Todoroki doesn't have much plus ultra gauge and neither does Night Eye. So this is going to be where the problem comes in, that I'm not actually able to get Todoroki's plus ultra on turn 2. I get pretty close, but I don't quite get there. If you had the rate plus 30% on his EX skill, you can get the plus ultra probably, but I only have rate plus 20%, so we'll see how it goes. All right, we got both of them stunned, that's big. Both of them burned, that's 4 status ailments already done, turn 1, right? So easy status ailments. And crit rate up from Uraraka. Looks very good, and they're stunned for 2 turns, right? So right here, ideally, for the perfect 4-turn clear, you would plus ultra with Todoroki. However, like I said, I don't have enough plus ultra gauge because I'm only raising the rate by 20% that he gains plus ultra gauge. If you can roll the EX skill, it says increase rate at which you gain plus ultra gauge by 30%, then you can have a plus ultra turn 2, and that would make this Todoroki look even better. But even without getting the plus ultra right here, we should be able to still get a 4-turn clear. And pretty close to perfect. Will probably be, we will be 1 plus ultra off of perfect, and hopefully we get all 20 crits, but we'll see. I am going to use, actually we're going to do it this order here, like this. That way we can get the plus ultra gauge raise from Todoroki and the plus ultra gauge raise from Uraraka. All right, there we go. Everybody has a barrier. Aizawa is dead. And now we are on turn 3. So it could have also potentially worked like this if I was able to get Uraraka's plus ultra, but I wasn't. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to use all of these skills right here, and then we'll plus ultra on the next turn. Got him stunned, beautiful. And another burn. So we have definitely accomplished our status ailments pretty easily. I think we have accomplished our crits too, we'll see, but let's go ahead and do all of our plus ultras here. And I'm going to slow it down for Todoroki's plus ultra animation so we can see it. And he has 46,000 health left. I don't think Todoroki will actually kill here. It's kind of a good thing that he doesn't do too much damage because it gives you a chance to land more hits. That being said, he might kill, but I don't think so. Sick animation. I really like it. Oh yeah, really close to killing, but there we go. So we were able to get at least 1 extra hit in right there, as you can see. And that should be a pretty decent clear, honestly. We'll see how many crits and stuff we got. I didn't count the crits, obviously, but I believe it was pretty close to 20. Oh, we were a little bit off. So a little bit off. It was close to a perfect score, but we needed 2 more crits. We had 18 crits total. We would have got the full points for that. We definitely had the technicals. We had 11 technicals. We had the plus ultra moves if Todoroki could have used his on turn 2, but we had 4 plus ultras used. We had 8 status elements. Status elements were easy peasy, right? And then we had 8 skill chains all in 4 turns. 4,712 points is not bad at all, especially if you tried this VE tower and you struggled to get into like the top 50 players. You would know that 4,712 points is actually really good. So overall in VE tower, I think this Todoroki is actually going to be very, very impressive and like a top of the tier list character for VE tower personally, at least when it comes to 4 to 5 turn clear VE towers. As for the longer VE towers, he could even still, I think, be useful there just because his skill 2 has such a short cooldown. We'll see how it ends up going though. Let me know what you guys think of him down in the comments. I personally feel a little bit better about pulling him after trying him out in VE Tower because after the PvP showcase and the Climax Battle showcase, I was like, wow, this Climax character is kind of... Impact Vest character, apologies, is kind of booty cheeks. But now I feel a little bit better, so hopefully this makes you guys feel better about pulling him. And you know, VE Tower is very nice if you can rank high. You get like 1,000 hero gems for top 3, 750 for top 10, 500 for top 50, and it goes down from there. But that's a lot of free hero gems if you guys are able to compete and participate in VE Tower. That is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.